Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah show only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah show
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be upon you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Now, welcome to the round table with me, Aisha Khan, where we discuss very thorny and pertinent issues in our society. Now, as promised, today's topic is very inspirational. It's very thorny because poetry today is not treasured. But I will give you a little bit of history, going back to the Prophet, peace be upon his time, where the Arabs used to attack him using poetry. And what he would do, he would use his companions using the similar language of poetry to respond to them. And then came the Quran. It has been revealed in a very poetic manner. And there is a whole surah, chapter 26, that is Surah Shu'ara, which is dedicated to the poets. Now, poetry is nothing new. It existed, it exists, and it will still continue. It will still exist. Now, with me on set, I have Drops of Melanin. I always call her that because she calls herself that. She is known as Najma Swaleh, who is a poet. She's an author. She's an amazing human being. And then with us here on set, we have Miski Haji, who is just 19 years old, changing the narrative of people coming from the northeastern region. She is also a poet and again an author. Welcome to the set.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for having us.
It's an honor having you two here. Now, you know, when we talk of poetry, Drops of Melanin, what do we mean? What does it mean to you?
To me, poetry has been first as a topic of concern. I didn't know that what I was doing was poetry. I went in being a writer. Writing was the first thing that I knew before I knew poetry. Then my first encounter with poetry was Buna Muhammad when I was in class 8, class 7 there from 1. So like I could know word to word of Buna Muhammad.
Mashallah.
Everything. So that was my first encounter with poetry. Then I started writing. Then my first performance I did in university as a surprise performance. So yeah, from there it's just been great. Alhamdulillah.
Amazing. We'll be coming deeper to your story. Miski, what does poetry mean to you? Today, if someone told you, what is poetry?
I can say poetry, this is like collection of several words collection of several words that can make someone get maybe a message in a good way. For instance, poetry, poems, when you know that a whole book can be summed into just one poem. And so it's just direct to the point, messages that you can easily make the person who is reading understand and grasp a lot of things. So poetry is a passion, and I always use poetry to attract people's attention and deliver message, because when they are reading, they create vivid images in their minds, and this makes them understand and get the message.
Amazing. Now coming to you, Najma, if you were to describe yourself in 2 minutes, what would you say about yourself?
I can do like a poem.
For sure. Take it away.
Wananiita drops, nimedrop so many times but sijawahi kukuwa perfect. Kukuwa perfect ni kutaka make it in life na ujanza kupanda. Si hata upanda milima uenda round you ufike peak. So pick your hustle wisely ukijua kesho. Ni wewe utafurahia chini ya jua. Usiulize ni aje drops amejua na bado haja make it.
Damn. Drops amedrop. Sio ndo nimepata. Now, Miski, coming to you, describe yourself in 2 minutes.
Well, as she used some poetic word, Personally, I don't recite. I
Okay.
write a lot instead. So I can say Miss K is a writer. She writes a lot. You know, mostly when people go through a lot of challenges in their life, they tend to share with people. But instead, I use poems to comfort myself. So I can say I usually comfort myself using poetry.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. Wow. I look for a chocolate to comfort myself, but it's amazing how you guys look for words to comfort yourself. Now, Najma, coming to you, you know, poetry, such a big word. Oh my God. What was your journey into poetry? Did you just wake up one day and find yourself there?
That's a lie. Nobody wakes up and becomes something. We all have to go through something.
Yeah.
So, as for me, I will say that first encounter, like I wanted to do poetry because I wrote a lot of things to get out of my own mind.
Okay.
I am an overthinker first. I'm an
Okay.
empath.
You feel a lot.
I feel a lot. I
Uh-huh.
don't only feel my things, I feel other people's things. So as a way of expressing myself, I write down things and get out of that moment. So yeah, most of the times it was to get out of my own mind.
How old are you?
Writing, I started writing as young as in primary school.
Wow.
Yeah, but I started performance. I wrote actually another book before this one, but that was like a personal book. It wouldn't be right if I shared it. So yeah, I wrote my first book in Form 1. It was to someone else. So yeah.
Wow, amazing. Now we want to understand your journey. Today a girl is watching you and is wondering. Today she has her book, her escapades.
Yeah.
That means it's about you.
Yes.
So how did you're a performing artist. You're not like Miski. Miski is just writing. That's how she expresses herself. But for you, you also speak out your poetry. So how did it all begin? Tell us your first experience when you did it.
Okay, my first experience, I was actually in uni. So when I went to uni, I used to write a lot. Like writing is a big part of me. Even on my way here, I was writing. So writing is a big part of me. If I want to calm down the things that I'm feeling, I'll always write. So I was introduced to a group of individuals who are called Poetry Rush Hour. Thanks to these people, I am where I am today, and thanks to Allah for bringing them into my life. Poetry Rush Hour has been a big part of me. First time, I was actually in my dormitory. I was just writing and reciting Buna. Then there's this girl who had me. Then it's like, I need to introduce you to some people. But before I introduce you, I need you to do surprise performance because she was going to perform. Then I was like, are you sure I can do this? I was tripping. So it's like, yeah, you can do this. So I remember I invited my best friend the first time. So it's like, just come, I'm scared. So he came, we went, and I did this. Suddenly, like after that, I felt like, yeah, like I belong somewhere.
Wow, and you belong to poetry.
And I belong to poetry.
Amazing. Miski, 19 years old. You have your own book. That makes me wonder, you know, what am I doing in life? And there's so many older people who think that way. Now, what was your journey into this world of poetry like? Did it start at the age of 18, 17? When did it start and how did it start?
Well, I will always appreciate where I come from. That is northern Kenya. Because sometimes challenges tend to make you tough and to be strong as well.
Yes.
So in the north, when you hear northeastern, what comes into your mind first?
Najma, you can tell me what comes to your mind.
Beautiful people. These are my people, so I don't expect anything negative.
For me, I think what I see on the internet, I see a lot of drought. I think of FGM. I think of people who want to marry off their girls very fast. That is just my opinion.
Exactly. You see, once you hear northern Kenya, what comes into your mind is all these challenges, and it is so sad. So, okay, I started writing when I was in primary. So, you know, it started, you know, in primary you start writing compositions and inshes as early as when you are in class 4. So I used to write, I used to love writing a lot. So at one point, I thought of, creating some, few lines of poems.
Yeah.
And that is the time I got the interest and passion of writing poems. So, and again, when I talk about my book Reset, it is typically the challenges in the society, and I won't specify, I won't say in the north, in the nation as well. But then these challenges are the ones that made me, let me sit and write poems, which can actually maybe change the mindset of my society. So when I was in primary, I will see girls going through a lot of challenges. For instance, sometimes girls not attending classes because of menstruation, lack of sanitary pads. That is epic,
Yeah.
We have to create awareness about this. And there's this thing I've realized, I observe things. When you visit public places like the toilets, what you see first in the washrooms is, you definitely know what that is.
Yeah, the
of
condoms.
Course, these condoms and so on. But then you will never find a pad maybe somewhere you want. So what is our society trying to tell us? That
there is a problem.
Like we go for sexual immorality and abandon the girls and also the youth and whatever that can make us, have a beautiful nation. So you can see these challenges need to awaken people's souls in my society. And also, I will see, in the north, they don't actually have good access to reading materials. You know about this this organization that I actually saw in Kesho Alliance and so on. So what are they trying to donate materials to these schools? You see, okay, I can say I thank my parents and God as well, because wherever I schooled in my primary, it was a bit better than the rest. So I will feel what these other kids are going through, not attending classes, just staying at home. And girls, once they are done with maybe class 8, all they think is marriage. And again, early marriage isn't an option. So I was like, let them prioritize their education, and then marriage can come last. You have to set your life in a good place so that tomorrow you won't be begging men and telling them, I need this, this, and this. So again, that was another challenge that made me come up with the book as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, Ms. Ki, we'll be taking a short break, but when we come back, we want to understand your journey, when this writing started exactly. Because your main purpose for writing this book today is because you came from Northeastern, where you saw problems, and you're looking at the problems and looking for a solution to empower girls who are, younger than you, older than you, to make a change. And this is just not a Northeastern problem. I think this is a problem of the entire society, where a girl child is really seen as just a girl child and there's nothing more to her. Well, we'll be taking a short break and we will be right back.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah show only on Horizon TV.
From the most interesting things is the alertness of the dying person at the time of his death. For he becomes perceptive to a degree which cannot be described, and worried to an extent that has no limits. And he yearns for his times of old, and wishes that he be left so that he can make up for what passed him by, and so that he can be truthful in his repentance, in accordance with the level of certainty he now has about death. And he, out of grief, almost kills his own soul before its actual death. And if a single atom's weight of these things were found at the time of health and well-being, everything that is intended by doing pious deeds would be achieved. So the intelligent one is he who pictures that hour and acts according to what it requires. And if he is not able to do that, then he visualizes it as much as he is able to, for it will prevent desire's hand and will arouse determination in him.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the second segment of this very, very thorny issue in our society, that is poetry with purpose. And of course, I'm with two brilliant ladies here who are just blowing my mind away. So young, yet the stories are so deep. Makes me wonder what I am doing in life. And I'm sure you're out there just getting inspired just like me. Now, stay tuned until the end of this segment, as I will be asking you a question, and in return, you will be getting this book, Reset. Now, we're here to reset your mindset. Yes, Miski, coming back to you. Tell us about your story as a young child. You just talked to us and told us that what happened to you in Northeastern, you know, what you saw growing up there is what prompted you to write this book. Now, tell us about the journey.
Well, as I said earlier, in primary and class 4, that is the time you start writing. And so I was always interested in writing. You know, it was not only am I interested in poetry, but sometimes actually I'm coming up with a novel as well.
Wow.
So
it just doesn't stop here. Amazing.
So I love writing. I don't just get tired. I love writing.
At what age did this begin?
This began at the age of 10 years.
10?
Yep.
Wow.
At the age of 10 years, I was able to write few lines, as I said earlier. And then the more you write the few lines, the more you perfect it. It's all about perfection. You get, if you write a lot, you keep on, you know, motivating yourself. You end up being, you know, experienced, and you can write as many books as you can. So I kept on writing the few lines, and I will show my teacher. He will say, just keep on writing. And this is what inspired me. When I was that young, my mom used to move her ways and get me the Daily Nation, the newspapers.
How supportive. Wow.
Yeah. So that is the time I was able to at least speak in English and even Swahili. You know, in the North, we all know that, you know, Somali is the language. But then it is again so unfortunate that being from the northern Kenya, my Somali is not 100% perfect.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I think I just know one word, Setahai.
But I'm trying all my best to learn as well. So that is what inspired me and made me, I can do this, you know. I kept on reading the Daily Nation. When my mom comes, you know, in the evening, she used to work in a certain office. She will say, what did you read today? She will ask me a lot of questions about the newspaper she gave me, maybe yesterday. I will answer, and then she will explain a lot. She used to teach me more about the politics in the nation and also in the world. So she explored me when I was that young. So one time she introduced me to, through the net, Shakespeare, the great poet, the poet.
Yeah.
So she will tell me, one day you can be like him if you don't give up and you continue, you know, writing and writing.
Amazing.
So
it is the support system of your mother.
So I can say it is the support of my mom that actually helped me today. She kept on telling me, Shakespeare is just a human being just like you.
If he can do it, you can do it.
And also, he didn't start from, you know, the peak. He started from a small place, and then he kept on using the ladder or the staircase, and that is where he is today. So I was inspired by what she said. And then this kept on.
You kept on fighting.
Exactly.
And today, here we are.
Exactly.
Amazing, amazing. Now, Drops of Melanin, you know that I was just waiting for you.
I know.
You have a very, very intriguing name, Drops of Melanin. How did you name yourself Drops of Melanin?
Drops of melanin came from a quote that said, "I am dripping melanin and honey. I am black without apology."
Whoa. From what you've just said, I am black without an apology. Now that just makes me think. Did you go through any sort of racism?
I can't say that it was direct. It was like someone telling me, "Oh, you're black, oh, you're this." But for the things that were quite put forward to me, like after I finished high school, so many, I was one out of the 10 people that I know only black. So everybody's like, "Oh, like, you know," and then we are raised in a place that, you know, you have to be light, you have to be this, like, for you to be beautiful enough, you have to be light enough. So it's like, I think I'm beautiful the way I am. I've been through so many other obstacles in life for my color to stand out and be like, you need to be lighter for you to be beautiful. I'm like, I've been through many other things that reminded me that maybe I'm not enough, and this was not going to be one of them.
Amazing. I don't know if I should give you a standing ovation, but my producer is going to make me sit back again, so let me just sit. Now, Miski, coming to you, let's talk about the challenges. What challenges did you face, you know, in your poetry journey? Has it been easy?
Definitely. For you to be successful, nothing can just come, you know. You have to struggle, you have to move and use paths that are thorny. So of course, when I was writing this book, several people couldn't believe in me.
What would they tell you?
They will say, this is just, you know, a piece of some words that don't have value in our society, or maybe value in me.
Wow.
You see, that made me that. Let me just continue and show them the power of poetry. You get it? I think that was the main challenge that I was going through. People telling me, how to end na umbali. That is what they say in Swahili. So, but I never gave up. I kept on writing and writing. And to be honest, today this book, several people want to read. Despite the Somalis being oral society, I was able to reset their mind.
Amazing, just as your book suggests. And something beautiful that I take from life is that every successful person, if you do not have a challenge, there's no story to tell.
Exactly.
Today you would not be here in an interview and you have a story to tell me. We would just be looking at each other. Oh, you know what? I wrote this book and here I am. But you have a story to tell. Now, Drops of Melanin, what challenges have you, come across in life?
Okay, in life generally, let's just say in life generally. First, I've always been told that I've been more than my age, like acting older than my age.
For sure, I feel like I'm sitting with people who are 50 to 60 years old over here on set.
From such a young age,
Yeah.
I was raised by my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I used to do everything in the house, including cooking and all that. From such a young age, 9, 10, I could cook, do
Wow.
perfect work. After my grandmother died now, I had to literally turn my life 360, learn new things, move to new places, like make life work. I was like an adult at that time. Started reading newspaper perfectly at 7.
Wow.
Yeah, so going through all that and moving on my own and finding my other family members and things like that have grown me into the person that I am today. And I don't know, it's just that way.
It's not just that way. It's not just that way. If you did not get those challenges, I don't think we'll be having a conversation here.
We wouldn't even be having a book.
I know. Challenges make people, and I'm actually getting very emotional on the set here. But moving on to you, Miski, you got a lot of celebration. You are trending all over social media. Did you expect this? You were just told, haiwezi fanyika. What is poetry? Nini?
And I was surprised that when I was launching my book, the same people who said that when I was knocking different offices, trying to invite them, telling them I need your support, I was shocked that they were seated. And that was, I didn't expect, of course. And in life, if you keep on expecting things from people, trust me, you'll just die on your own. So one thing is, and I'm yet to know how he did it. I mean, the day I was signed to, inviting different leaders from the north, it was a bit challenging, How can you approach a leader and tell them to just, maybe attend your event? It's just a book. That is how they will say it's just a book. It's normal.
So many have written it. So
yeah,
what are you trying to tell me?
Are you how are you different? So after I tried inviting as many leaders I could, to be honest, they all showed up, and this was actually she was there as well. I wasn't expecting. And after the event, I think I was at the end of the day, I will say, if I made that happen, I can build, so many things in the lives of people. So I got at least, hope in my life. Yeah.
Drops of melanin, I will come to you. Being a Muslim girl, coming from the Somali community, and here you are, you're waking up one day, you're telling people, you know what, I'm going to be a spoken word artist. I'm going to stand and recite to people poems. How was that for you?
It's been very hard. At first, when I was even starting poetry and that, I didn't tell anyone. I told my mom then, I was afraid of what people will say. How will people think of you? What will people do this? But I would like to say a huge thank you to the support system that I've got from my best friends. Like, if I could repay them, I would. But those are the people that always reminded me, like, you need to do this. Maybe this will be the way out. This will be the way in, And then I was afraid, if I tell my mom, will she say yes? Will she? So the first time I told her I was actually going for a TV interview, she was like, Hoyo, tomorrow I'll be on TV. Watch me. It's like, mashallah. So like, she started she started supporting me. And then I was like, if my mom supports me, really, other people don't matter, like what they say or they don't say or what they think. So I told my sisters were also there for me. So from there, it's just been amazing, alhamdulillah. And then after some time, everybody started accepting, like, okay, this is a thing. Okay, the minute that I opened my mouth, I was like, okay, like she's saying something valuable, like something that makes sense, something that someone else can hear and be like, yeah, mashallah, like that makes sense.
Amazing. So, yeah. Now, before we take the break, Drops of Melanin, I want you to give us a poem, and that poem is to people who supported you and were there for you. I don't know if you have some words in your mind right now, but if you don't, just shoot something. Let it come from your heart. Are we ready?
Okay. I think so. We're ready. I will say a poem that sums up my book of the journey that I've been through. It's called Into the Foreign Lands.
Amazing. Take it away.
Okay. 2 months after I turned 11, I took a cab, stopped, took another cab, and I was into a foreign land. Everybody looked at me strangely, I promise. I was not wearing anything fancy. I just wanted to figure out how things go. Do they still use old used jars to store spices, or do they still put their money in a black paper bag and hide it under their pillow like my grandmother? So 844, I finished freelance and passed. They told me I need to choose a career, but they didn't tell me that cars could also be carriers from point A to point B. So they told me I could be a teacher because of the eloquence in my speech, but I was more of justice than just thinking about. So B, they told me I could be a lawyer, but I was more of justice than just being a jury, supporting the rich and denaming the poor. So before we got to C, I hope you can see there's no hope in education. So D, I decided I could be a poet. So they told me, you portray to be pondering your words, more of spoken word and poetry, and that's when I found home away from home.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. Now, as I had promised you, I would ask a question, and in return, you would get this book reset. Now, are you guys ready? At what age did Miss Key start writing her book? And I repeat again, at what age did Miss Key start writing her book? Now you can SMS us on the number on your screen, and you could just be the winner of Reset. Now we'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema akasisitiza akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness
Ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories.
Ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the roundtable with me, Aisha Khan. And today the topic of discussion is poetry with a purpose. And of course I have with me two brilliant girls. One is 19, the other one is also pretty young, but the maturity that they are showcasing on this set is amazing. They have seen challenges from where they have grown up, and they've taken those challenges to build themselves and are sitting here today changing the narrative in our society. I will come to this very thorny issue in our society. Growing up as girls, growing up as Muslim girls, you are just seen as a girl. Grow up, get married, that's the end of it. Now, Najma, from your experience, you are so scared that I am a poet and I don't want to tell people because what are they going to think about me? What can you say about this narrative that is going on?
Okay, from a pretty young age, as I was growing up, in every room that I've stepped in as the only woman, people have looked at me in such a way like she's in the wrong place, or she can't say enough things, or we're not sure what she's about to say. Then the minute I open my mouth, everybody keeps quiet. So like that always reminds me that I'm in the right place and doing the right things. It's actually the first time I went to Rush Hour, I was the only girl.
Wow.
Muslim girl, to be precise. The first time I was coming up in the industry. Right now when I go for events, everybody tells me, there's so many Muslim girls right now in the industry, don't you feel like maybe they'll take over, there's no space for you? Then I'm like, I started for this main reason. Like, I started performing for other girls to see that they can also do it, for other girls to see that they can talk and people can listen to them, like they have something to share that is more meaningful. So yeah.
Amazing. Miski, coming from northeastern region where there are so many problems happening and the girl child is just seen as a girl and there's nothing more to her.
First thing first, in my society, the belief is if she knows how to speak in maybe English or small Swahili, she can get married as early as 15 years. I have cousins who got married as early as 15 years. And that is not something that when I hear, I don't get surprised. I'm used to it. You know, it's a community you've been raised, and you know what is usually the thing and what doesn't happen. So I had to move my way again and say that isn't the case. You can you can do what men do. You know, there's a belief that girls cannot do some of these things. Do you think that girls cannot lead? Being a governor in one of the counties in northern Kenya. You see, there's this it is stereotype, actually. That is how I can phrase it.
Yes.
That girls cannot do anything, but how
just procreate.
Exactly. But then after I published my book and resetting the mindset, I have inspired as many girls as I could, and they believe that today they can go ahead and be better than what men are doing. You know, in most cases, you know, when I was in primary or in primary mostly, the classes are mixed. So when you tend to be, you know, among the top students, you defeat boys. You know, it's like it's a history you're creating.
Yes.
You'd be like, how can she even defeat us? It's a belief. And so through the book, I think by now girls they have started running after their dreams. And I believe that
now in your book you have a chapter where you're talking about modernity.
Yeah.
In this day and age, 21st century, when a woman stands up for herself, of course not toxic feminism, but just standing up to make a difference in her life, she's seen as being too forward. She should take a seat back.
Exactly.
Read to us some of the lines of modernity.
I will say, it says, modernity, modernity, modernity. This is how the young exploit their brains, not doing the right but the goodies. You know, it is in quotes, goodies, meaning it's not exactly the right thing, but then they see it to be a right thing, but then in the real sense we know this thing is not right. For instance, westernization has been the order of the day. You know, sometimes our Muslim girls tend to do away with the hijabs, and they think that they're doing the right thing. And that is why I said goodies, Not modernity, a life to cope with. The youngsters exploited their brains. None is pure at this era. I doubt them for sure. I'm afraid to be enrolled in these groups. He tells me, girl, be modernized. That is the guy telling me be modernized by throwing, maybe start wearing some some tight clothes to expose my shape and so on.
Yes.
And that is what happens. My modernity is all about my knowledge and brains. When all friends destroyed their talent, I said, we differ. We differ in a unique way. Modernity. I wonder how it's interpreted. When parents think of higher studies, modernity disturbs them, that their children will be influenced. They tell them to keep off. The negativity about modernity, I mean, I hope you get them right. Keep off, please. If I am traditional bush girl, modernity isn't my choice. Wow. Modernity, modernity, modernity. I think the whites made the mistake, but for now it's irreversible. Sorry. So through the poem, you can see how mostly in northern Kenya, girls are not allowed to maybe study in these regions because they know modernization has been something that is just the order of the day, and so the parents are like, we are afraid
that we will lose our child.
Exactly. But then again, I'm trying to reset their mind of these parents and tell them, you just have to sit with your girls, advise her and show her the right path so that she can go ahead and pursue her careers. That is again a challenge in northern Kenya.
Her escapades, and this is escapades of drops of melanin.
Yes.
Now, this is a book that is talking about your life, your challenges, and how you want to inspire others out there from your story. Now, what is the most intriguing and striking part of your book?
The fact that everybody texts me and tells me that this has changed their life. Like, they've been through things that I've been through, and they didn't see, like, they didn't know that there's someone who could tell their story the way I did. I think there's nothing more fulfilling than that. Yeah, so I wrote for the other people who couldn't do it, and remind girls that we are here and we can do it. And yeah.
Wow, what a woman can do. What a woman can do,
a man can't.
No. I think what I can say is that society is beautiful. The men have their roles, the women have their roles. And if we can both appreciate ourselves, then, you know, life will just be beautiful. It's all about equality, and maybe not equality to that sense, because to be honest, I respect men too. Because if there's something heavy to carry here, honestly, we leave it to them. I'm not saying that we can't carry, but we should respect our biological setup. And I said everyone has something to put on the table, the men and the woman.
But you know, some things are overrated.
It's true.
But according to our religion again, in the eyes of God, we all equal.
True.
And so it's good to be, you know, treat each and every human being equally.
Amazing. Now, do you guys have any last words to tell people out there? And before that, your last words should be about selling your book. This is PR. And I want to know, if someone wants to buy this book, you know, where can they go? How can they get it? And how much is the book?
My book goes for 1,000 Kenya shillings. Drops of Melanin, you can email me at najusanchez@gmail.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
The same mine as well is 1,000, and you can order using my website. It is www.reset.co.ke.
Amazing, amazing. My perspective is that poetry is beautiful. It exists, it existed, and it will continue to exist. And life is all about inspiration. If we can use our stories to change society, if we can look at the injustice happening in our society and use that to change the world, then we have done our job as human beings. Now, before I leave you, I have a very interesting piece by Buna Muhammad. I kept you in mind. And here we go. I've been your host, Aisha Khan, and this has been The Roundtable.
Anyone can count the seeds in an apple, but only one can count all the apples in a seed. Before the creations of the heaven and the universe, there was only one, Allah, Rabbil Alameen. Al-Wahid, who made the sun and planted the stars like trees. Al-Ahad, the unique one, with no need of slumber or sleep. Al-Khaliq, created you like kun fayakun, from the womb to the tomb. Al-Raqib is always watching you. Al-Musawwir fashioned thee and gave you all your faculties. All praise be to Al-Hamid, to he that is perfect and complete. And glory be to Al-Majid, majestically honorable indeed. And why would he need money when he is Al-Ghani? Al-Razzaq fulfills the needs of even the birds and the bees, while Al-Wahhab bestows his bounties out of love and mercy. And you could try and count all his blessings, but he is Al-Azim, cause Al-Malik is the only king with servants he doesn't need. Al-Hayy is alive, and Al-Qayyum will never die. Al-A'la, beyond the skies, and Al-Hakim, the most wise, no lies. But why would they try to prescribe As-Samad, a son, when my Lord has 99 names and Jesus ain't one? Al-Hakim is the judge, a Sayyid, master above. Waging war against Al-Aziz is like spitting at the sun. Allah is Al-Jamil and loves that which is Al-Jamal. And why would you have fear when Al-Wali he is by your side. The most gentle Ar-Rafiq has the firmness of Al-Mateen. Musa spoke to As-Sami' but couldn't see Al-Basir. Al-Awwal was the first and Al-Akhir is the last. Al-Alim knows the present and the future and the past. Al-Wasi' encompasses all, it knows what benefits and harms. Al-Shafi heals the sick and Al-Muhsin gives good to all. Al-Mubin guides to this deen, making the truth clear and clean. Al-Mu'min can provide security in ways you've never seen. Al-Qadir does what he pleases and is capable of all things. And he who kneels before Al-Mutakabbir can stand up to anything. Victory comes from Al-Nasir, so I give thanks to Al-Shakur. Put my trust in Al-Wakil, save my love for Al-Wadud. Ya Ghafoor, Ya Ghafar, forgive me for you are Al-Afu. At-Tawwab, we turn to you cause you are Al-Quddus. Ya Salam, it is my dream to see you. Ya Kareem, Ya Fatah, open the highest gates of Jannah for me. Ameen. Al-Mujib hears my prayers even when I can't find the words to say them. And Al-Qawi gives me the strength to live a life of dedication to a shahid, being a witness over this entire nation. Al-Hafiz protect this ummah from all the fitna and temptation. Al-Qareeb is closer to ourselves than our blood in circulation. Al-Latif shows us kindness, but most of mankind is ungrateful. Till Al-Hasib takes account on the day that we'll be standing naked. Where are their gods? Al-Jabbar will ask all of his creation, for he is Al-Qahar while the rest are simply imitations. Al-Haq, the only truth on the day that our souls will become awakened. So repent before Al-Warith inherits all that you've accumulated. Al-Halim is patient with us although we have disobeyed him. Goodness from Al-Tayyib and Al-Muhaymin makes observations of prostrations to Al-Zahir, manifesting through his creations. Al-Akram made us Muslims, so let us show appreciation, for he is Al-Jawad as revealed in his revelations. For those of contemplation, Al-Kabir must be the greatest, cause knowing Al-Manan is the only key to our salvation. The proof is Ar-Ra'uf, but it's true that their hearts are blinded, and this is just a reminder for those who love to be reminded of the most beautiful names and attributes that you will ever see, like the mercy of Ar-Rahman and the compassion of Ar-Rahim.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with